You know, guys, today is World Health Day, and one of our very own, he was pretty brave. He was sharing his story in hopes that it can help at least one of you who could be watching at home.
Yes, we're so proud of him. Our man in the mix, Brandon Lopez, has his story.
I'm Brandon Lopez with a look at
being the man in the mix. I get a ton of amazing opportunities.
Here we go! Here we go!
I get to travel for work.
Come to you guys from South Beach. I'm Brandon Lopez, your man in the mix.
I get to take part in a bunch of cool experiences.
All very healthy.
Very
all
healthy.
Very healthy.
Just
trying to keep.
And I get to meet a lot of interesting people. On the surface, everything is great, but on the inside, that may not always be the case. I'm battling anxiety and depression, and now I'm telling my story.
You and I have an interesting relationship because you are actually my personal therapist.
Anxiety affects 40 million adults in the United States over the age of 18, yet only almost 40% of those receive treatment. Why is that?
For some reason, people look at mental health differently than they do about physical health. People are much more likely, I would say, to go in if they're having some kind of physical issue, perhaps, and more reluctant, perhaps, for mental illness.
Most people are afraid to discuss mental health out of fear of judgment or being labeled. But now many organizations and even celebrities are doing their part to reduce stigma.
A misconception about celebrities is that just because we have money and you see us on the carpet smiling, that when the camera's cut and the makeup comes off in the hair, that we don't go home to real problems, and we do.
Taraji P. Henson from the hit show Empire started a foundation to honor her late father, Boris Lawrence Henson. He was a Vietnam vet who battled mental health issues all his life. The organization will help African Americans who struggle with mental health issues and even provide scholarships to young people aspiring to pursue a career in mental health.
When the person across the sofa from you is not culturally competent or doesn't look like you, then you won't speak your truth.
So what can you do if you think you're experiencing anxiety, depression, or some other sort of mental health issue?
It might take some vetting, whether it's interviewing different therapists that you might find are a good fit for you, or choosing only select friends or relatives to share this stuff with. There are absolutely resources out there.
Be there, lend an ear, be someone's shoulder to lean on. Let's have the conversation. Together, we can battle stigma and mental health issues.
We need to just eradicate the stigma around mental illness in our community, so here I am. And yes, I have a therapist.
I'm Brandon Lopez, your man in the mix.
Yeah, thank you to Taraji P. Henson for saying, let's have the conversation, let's get rid of the stigma. I have a therapist, she's talking about it, and most importantly, thanks to Brandon for sharing his story with us. And this is really what has to happen a day like today. We've got to talk about it. People are going through it. Get help.
I mean, some really important stuff pointed out there as far as people being reluctant to speak with someone who doesn't necessarily come from the same culture or the same background. And I never thought about that, and it makes sense. So
it does.
Good stuff. Very brave, very informative. Brandon, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. For more information on how you can prioritize your mental health, you can log on to NBC6.com. We have more information there.